everybody, and welcome to this week's Wednesday Words. My name is Debs Barrett from Adapt Counselling, and this week's topic is about feeling numb. Now, I have been inspired by one of my clients who said to me this week, my child started school this week, my youngest child, and I was really shocked. I thought I was a terrible mother because I felt absolutely nothing. And this poor lady was in tears. Was she a terrible mother? Absolutely not. More the opposite. But what was going on there, is that our brains are very, very clever. And often, particularly when we've had past traumas, our brain can't cope with the pain. It's too much for us to bear. So it takes us to our safe place. And this is called disassociation. So I explained to my client that what happened was her baby was going to school, which is very, very painful. I know, I'm a mother myself. I've been in that situation. Therefore, her brain automatically shut off those emotions. The thing is, that's okay as a coping mechanism. That's okay to do now and again when we need to, and also quite useful for when we're in an emergency situation. But if we do that all the time throughout our daily lives, then that's not much living that we're doing. We're almost out of reality. And I want to say to you that very often this is connected with a sense of low self-worth. So when we've been rejected, when we've been hurt, when we're isolated, when we're lonely, it's painful. Sometimes that pain, not only is it beyond words because it's so deep, but it's too much to bear. So we go to this place of feeling numb. You may not have experienced it, but I think most of us, at one time or another in our lives, have experienced, say, for example, daydreaming. It's a little similar to daydreaming, although a much stronger experience, and you feel like you have fog brain at the same time. Now, this is not a pleasant feeling or a pleasant state to be in. You're almost completely absent. So of course you're there fully, physically, but your thought brain is elsewhere. There are three things that I wanted to say to you today. First, really, really important, believe in yourself. You could think, if I don't believe in myself, who else is going to? I've heard that said before. It's not entirely true because other people do believe in you. But if you don't believe in yourself, how are you able to keep strong? There's such a need in today's society to be resilient, and part of that comes from believing in ourselves. You are worth more than you think you are. Yes, it's very easy to hide and pretend we're okay and put on that mask that we all wear. But I often ask people, how do you feel on the inside? If 0 was the worst and 10 was the best, where would you place yourself? And my third point, don't listen to the negative messages that you tell yourself. Challenge them, because what they are, more often than not, is thoughts. It doesn't necessarily mean they're real. The symptoms become real if we swallow those thoughts wholesale and we don't do anything about them. We can believe they're real, and I've been there myself, and they really feel real. But it's your brain constantly being in this fight or flight stress mode. It generates the hormone cortisol, which floods your body, and if you're not careful, you can end up spending the whole time in this stressed mode. And I tell you, stress can lead to death. I'll say that again. Stress can lead to death in the worst case scenario. It's very, very serious, and that is because of the impact it has upon our bodies. Stress can cause heart attack, can cause angina, can cause stroke, can make irritable bowel syndrome worse. Why then would you want to tell yourself all these negative thoughts? Yes, I get it. Trauma is a huge, huge thing. Much more than I can cover in this 10-minute little video. However, there's a saying that goes, for things to change, something's got to change. And why not let that something begin with your thinking? The way you think about yourself. If you introduce more positive thoughts, then you will begin to feel better. And then what do you think happens? It reduces your stress levels. Even smiling is better for you than frowning. Smiling reduces the stress levels. One tip I can give you, why not try standing in front of the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. Look into your own eyes and say it. And if you find this difficult, there's a clue there. So that's a little bit of homework for you this week. And in counselling, we call this type of activity reparenting. Reparenting. It is like replacing the love that you never had as a child, giving it to yourself as an adult. It may seem simple, but it is so hard to do if you've experienced trauma. And these are the type of exercises that sometimes, not always, I work with my clients on in counselling. I found a wonderful quote that I want to leave you with by an author called Nicholas Sparks, who wrote the book At First Sight. He writes, "The emotion that can break you is very often the one that heals you." The emotion that can break you is very often the one that heals you. And it is so true. So if you're avoiding a certain type of pain, more often than not, that's the one you need to work on. If you've liked this video, please like, subscribe and comment. Do share with your friends and pass on the word. Always here to help. Deb Sparrett from Adapt Counselling. Bye bye for now.